Rise and Shine Rwanda, it's Wednesday the 1st of November.
Coming up on today's Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Updates on Kenya rerun elections.
An insight into the upcoming Kigali Jazz Junction. Good morning, you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Irene Kanengwa.
And me, Fidelis Karango. Over the next half an hour, we'll take you through what's trending in the news, business, as well as lifestyle. But first, let's take a look into our news features. Five universities have been closed over inadequate staff and training facilities, leaving more than 3,000 students stranded. The five universities that were closed are Singhat Technical Education Society in Kichukiro, Rusizi International University, Nile Source Polytechnic of Applied Arts in Huye District, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology in the city of Kigali, and Open University of Tanzania that was operating in Goma districts. Officials from the universities said that the Higher Education Council rarely conducted audits to assess what was going wrong, and that they were surprised by international auditors, requesting that it would have been better if they had been guided and encouraged to do better, as well as given more time to rectify the ongoing issues. The Higher Education Council officials, however, say the decision was part of the efforts to ensure that all universities operating in the country offer quality education, and that it was putting in place a mechanism to allow affected students to seek admissions in other universities.
And in regional news, Kenya Poll Agency declares Kenyatta winner of the repeat election. Kenya Electoral Agency IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati has declared that the just concluded repeat presidential election was free, fair and credible. Mr. Chebukati has subsequently declared that Jubilee's Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto as president-elect and deputy president-elect respectively. Mr. Kenyatta garnered 98% of the valid votes cast in the fresh election held last week, and which was boycotted by his main challenger, NASA's Raila Odinga. The declaration is made without results from 25 constituencies in Nyanza that failed to vote on Thursday due to disruptions of polling. Mr. Chebukati said that the conditions that had been set for the repeat poll were met. The August 8th election had a 79.17% voter turnout, a drop from the 86% in the 2013 election won by President Kenyatta, with Mr. Odinga coming in a close second and losing a subsequent Supreme Court petition. Let's take a look at the President-elect Uhuru Kenyatta's acceptance speech.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's now my pleasure to invite the...
As you all know, I have been here before. But today, I, as a Kenyan, celebrate our resilience as a nation, but I also celebrate our resilience and the resilience of our democracy, the resilience of our people, and also the resilience of our institutions. Long-suffering and passion for country, I take this opportunity to thank God. He has brought us thus far, and He will give us victory over darkness. On the 8th of August, and I will not tire to say so, Kenyans woke up early and peacefully to vote. And on that date, they voted me, their president, without a doubt. When my victory was put to test at the Supreme Court, this was the verdict. The court did not challenge my overwhelming mandate of 54%. The numbers were never questioned. What the court questioned was the process of declaring my victory. And because the court did not question my victory, they, by extension, with their ruling, validated my 54% numbers. And herein began a political paradox. In spite of this paradox, I had to make a very painful decision. For the choice for me was to resist the paradox and insist on my valid victory, or to submit myself to the rule of law. This was a very difficult and painful decision, but I had to make it. But in that, and in my own reflections, I was reminded that the law is greater than me. Indeed, it is greater than any individual. And that the law is a direct expression of the general will of all. And with this painful reasoning, I submitted myself to the general will as expressed through our Constitution. And this is how the October 26th election was made possible. It is an expression, fellow Kenyans, of the general will of all. And this general will included the right to vote, but also the right not to vote. Some, including some in this room, argued that I was changing the rules of engagement halfway through the game. Others argued that to change the electoral law ahead of the 26th election was to privilege myself over the other competitors. And because the law must be founded on reasoned national consensus, I listened to these voices and I did not sign that new bill into law. Fellow Kenyans, the rule of good law does not discriminate. It gives us the right to act and the right not to act, the right to vote, and equally, the right not to vote.
And in international news, a Pakistan bride has been charged over poisoned milk killings. The woman has been arrested on suspicion of killing her husband and at least 12 of his relatives with poisoned milk, as police claim Asiya Bibi had intended the deadly substance for her husband following a forced arranged marriage in September. Local media says the bride had tried unsuccessfully to flee her marital home and return to her parents. Senior police official Owais Ahmad confirmed that Asiya Bibi has been charged with murder, and a man alleged to be her lover and his auntie have also been arrested. So far, 13 people are said to have died and 14 were hospitalized, as the death toll has been rising since last Thursday, when the tainted drinks were first served and 8 people initially died.
Welcome back. Now taking it back to the neighborhood Kenya, Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta was declared winner of the controversial 26th October repeat election with over 7.4 million votes or 98%. Let us hear people's opinion on this. With us in studio today is Mr. David Chegemagu, a Chief Finance Officer, Kigali Heights. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we are talking about Kenya elections, the rerun elections. Okay. How were the elections when you compare the first and the second time?
No, the first thing we need to understand as Kenyans and other citizens is that there was a petition in court regarding the 8th August elections, whereby the court gave 60 days for fresh general elections. And having a mandate as Kenyans, because you're the ones who went to the battles to vote in the first place, it sort of gave a different dimension into how we view elections. One, I'm going to vote. My vote is nullified. The court is the case is taken to the court. The election is nullified. We are given 60 days to conduct a fresh election. In my view, there are 3 parties involved. There's opposition, there's a ruling party, there's a judiciary. Yeah. Why am I putting judiciary? Because it is an arm of the law. When you have dispute in between the parties, you're supposed to be like a lawmaker to try and sort issues out. So the 60 days were given. A fresh election was conducted. Yeah. Based on the judgment which was done by the Supreme Court on 26th of October. People went to vote. Opposition leader, Mr. Raila, chose to tell his own people not to go and vote. Yeah. out of 47 counties, 43 of them voted. We were only remaining with 4 which did not vote
Yeah.
from the opposition side.
Yeah.
So I think the turnout was not as expected.
Could this have hindered the results on either sides?
The turnout for Mr. Kenyatta last time was around 8.4. I stand corrected. I might not be accurate in figures.
Yeah.
Compared to 26 October, it was around 7.4 million votes. Against Mr. Raila, which was 78,000 on 26th of October. Why the turnout for Mr. Raila was low is due to what he really addressed to the nation.
Yeah.
People should not go and vote.
We should not vote.
Because this
And
election
probably
is a sham
amongst
election.
those votes, there could have been his too.
That's what I'm saying. It is not only his votes that people could have gone and voted.
Yes.
Even for the ruling party. Because people would like, I want to vote, I'm in Kisumu. Kisumu is where the stronghold for NASA, come NRM, the strong party. That's where the Mr. Odinga comes from. But I would want to vote for the ruling party, but I never got that chance to vote.
To vote.
It is my democratic right to vote, but I never got that chance to vote. Why? Because Mr. Odinga stood and said, nobody from this region should cast a ballot paper and vote. So it was a hindrance in terms of the turnout, because on the opposition side, people were told not to vote. On the ruling party, people were told go out and vote in massive numbers. So it was, people were sort of caught in a dilemma.
So it is said that by November 20th, the court must make a decision whether to uphold Mr. Kenyatta's win or send Kenyans back to the polls. What is your opinion about this?
There are two things which are going into play now. Opposition leader, who is Mr. Odinga, is currently getting up signatures for referendum.
Okay.
So that they can be able to go back and see what can be done. On the other side, the electoral body, which is IBC, has given out certificates to the winners of the election, who is President Kenyatta and running mate Mr. William Ruto. Currently, they are president-elect and vice president-elect. So we are caught up in a situation where you're like, you have a president-elect already. You have 7 days, or maximum 14 days, to make sure you have elected a legit president. You understand?
Yes.
On the other side, you have an opposition who they are very busy collecting signatures for referendum. You understand?
Yeah.
So we are caught in between as Kenyans. Now, what should we do?
Exactly, that's what I was coming to.
The point is this, the constitution is very clear. Once IBC has given out certificates to the president-elect and the vice president, they have a mandate of 7 to 14 maximum days to elect a president. Before we went to voting, it was supposed to be a 7-bench judge to make a ruling on the election date.
Yeah.
Why? Because there was a petition with the opposition where they were trying to say, okay, we cannot hold on election now, we are not ready to hold elections. But it was not possible to rule out on the election date. Why? Because we needed a 5-judge bench to turn out to overrule.
Yeah.
But instead we only had 2 judges, the Chief Justice. So having that in mind, the elections had to go on. And because they cannot nullify the first judgment they made, because they said we had to have elections in Kenya 60 days after 8th August, general elections. So either way, we have a president-elect, we have a vice president-elect. The only thing we are running to IBC is to have the 7 days, to count the votes, to open the servers for international observers to be able to come and say, okay, these ones, they're turning the Form 32B, Form 32A, to be able to say, okay, we are now understanding the process and we acknowledge the process so that we can be able to declare the winner in the presidential election.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for the highlights. We would love to have you back in our studio for more updates. Yeah, that was Mr. David Chegemagu, the Chief Finance Officer, Kigali Heights. We'll be back.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Now, as many of us have been accustomed to, by now it's that time of the year again when the trailblazing Kigali Jazz Junction happens. What are we to expect in this month's event? Well, let's find out.
RG Consult presents the Isaiah Katuma Jazz Maestro exclusive. Live on stage with his full band alongside our very own Andy Bimundu at the Kigali Serena Hotel, 6:30 p.m. Friday, the 3rd of November 2017. Ordinary tickets are 10,000 Rwandan francs. VIP tickets for 20,000 Rwandan francs. VIP tables of 8 at 220,000 Rwandan francs with a meal. Tickets sold at all Airtel service shops. To RSVP, call 0734 815 714.
And joining us now in studio is Remy Lubega, the founder of RG Consult. Welcome, Remy, to Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Thank you.
Such an honor having you here. You're one of our, you inspire us big time on the show.
Wow.
You really do.
I'm humbled.
All right, now let's talk Kigali Jazz Junction.
Yes.
You've been doing this for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
What inspired this idea? What has your journey been like?
Well, it's a great story, though what talking about, of course. Well, look, during the time we started this was the time when we heard that night fear of sound pollution and stuff. And there was, I had an establishment of a small band, and all they were doing was to wake up and do music. But we had a product and we had nowhere to showcase it. And I was wondering if you're an entrepreneur and you've started up a business and people are also working so hard, but you don't have a market where to showcase. And so we just started to debate ways in which to start up something. So that was one motivation. The second motivation was one, if we started a night out, we know that many people in Rwanda who go out the last Friday of the month.
Yes.
But again, you find that the same places, same people, same concept,
Very true.
same bar, same thing. Like, okay, why don't we have a twist before they hit wherever they are going in the night? We give them a treat of a very good ambience of music, impactful and very talented artist, ambience in terms of professional setting on stage, lighting and all that. And then they have something to ponder about before they go, you know, crazy on the month. And then next month we do the same, but with a different artist or different concept. So we also reached that stage and said, okay, now we've got the day, we've got the concept. And then we're like, what is so unique in the music industry that has not been exploited? We've done culture, we've done Guma Guma has done the rest of the pop music, but we know that Kigali is becoming a cosmopolitan town. You have a lot of people, expatriates coming into the town, and there is something unique about jazz that wherever you are, it doesn't matter which artist is singing, as long as it's jazz, you're gonna listen to jazz.
Yes.
It's like reggae. It doesn't matter whether it's a German singing or, you know, so there are those genres of music which really just celebrate people. They just bring them together very fast, and you wouldn't even care about the language, the composition or the person singing, as long as it's the unique music that unites them. So we also knew that there are many people who are lacking because no radio station is playing jazz music here.
True.
There's no TV station that's playing
Actually, that
jazz
should have
music
been
here.
a bit scary for you because maybe then who's your target market? Because like you said, there's no radio stations playing jazz music. So
Yes.
how sure are you that people can relate to jazz
But
music
exactly
here?
that fear, that risk is where the opportunity is.
All right.
And that I usually take that. The most feared thing is where the opportunity is. So for me, it's like, okay, no one is going to try this because it is risky.
Yes.
So if I started it, then I'm growing a culture.
Yes.
And that culture is going to catch up and become the in thing to associate with. And when we started, actually, we had 20 people we invited for free. It was at Grand Legacy, not Grand Golila Hotel.
Yes.
I tried to explain to the management about it. They did not really understand the concept, but I said, well, I'm good to go. We have the content, we have the band up and running, and I can call a few friends who I've shared with the idea, who
Yes.
love jazz. So that was the beginning. 20 people, some expatriates, local guys, taking a drink, and then we had 1 hour and said, oh, this is beautiful. Then we carbonated it into something more jazzy. We took it to Urban Bay City Blue Hotel, and then I met a number of expatriates saying, guess what? We've done all restaurants here.
Yes.
Well, actually, one had a testimony.
Yes.
He goes home with $2,000 of entertainment. He doesn't know where to spend it. per
Wow.
month. It's like, this is something I cannot
Like,
miss.
this is my money.
Yeah, this is my money. Yeah, trust me, I have
Yes.
5 other friends who love this. So
True.
why don't you think so? You keep building, of course, with a lot of networking, with a lot of
Alright.
consultation. And then, last but not least, we were trying to make something random. We were trying to attract people to Kigali as a city. It's a beautiful city. Look at the
Yes.
laws. Look at the lighting. Look at how clean it is.
Everything
And then,
is on point.
Yeah, and then you have travelers coming in the city. They get into the hotel and then sleep with the money.
Sure.
You will like, get them out, get them out.
Yes.
That's what the president keeps saying. Think big,
All right.
think big.
Oh.
You understand? And we are like, okay, let's go for it. So we brought partners on board. We went to Serena, said, Serena, your destination, your hospitality into destination. We go to Motsing, say, you are an enjoyment. You have a product for enjoyment of plus and premium. So we like that. And then we started, I have a lot of connections with many artists around the world. I've done this for ages. So I'm like, guys, do you want to visit Rwanda? So give you the good ambience, not necessarily paying you or something like that, but come and enjoy, come and discover
Yes.
something, the story. So as we're connecting, the story is being told, and we're exchanging culture, we're exchanging, a lot of experience. And before you know it, we are one of the most consistent jazz events in sub-Saharan Africa.
Perfect. Very inspiring story there.
Yeah,
But
sure.
so one would wonder what that is, because we're talking about it just actually last month when you had Seishe. I love her. I was very excited that she came.
Yeah.
But then she's not really a jazz artist.
Yeah.
So one would wonder what goes into the criteria that you follow when selecting the artists you're going to bring over, because like you said, it's a jazz junction, but then we still have artists like Seishe coming over who are not necessarily jazz artists.
Sure. Actually, you just answered the question.
Yes.
It's called Jazz Junction. What happens in a junction?
Yeah.
What happens in? Everything happens there.
Yeah.
So what happens is jazz is meeting other genres of music.
Okay.
That's the concept.
Okay.
So at any event we're doing, there is a jazz hour.
Yeah.
But hey, jazz does.
It could be a little bit of everything
jazz
too.
is picked from.
So people
and
have had it here first, so don't get confused. Now you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Jazz is kept from different components of music too.
Okay.
That's why most people call it improvisation. You understand? And then jazz has its own twist. There's swing, there's funk, there's traditional jazz, and all that. Afro jazz. And Afro jazz is basically our culture music, which we integrate some little bit of rumba. You hear some little of zouk, but there is something jazzy about it. You understand? So anyway, the concept of Jazz Junction is a place where jazz meets other genres of music. That's why we can have a dancehall artist like Cindy coming and saying,
Why not?
how do you do that? We do that because jazz appreciates all these kinds of music, and it picks an element or two from there, or they pick an element or two from jazz.
Very true.
Yeah.
Now, Isaiah Katuma coming over. Everybody's really excited. I know I am.
Yeah.
What should we look forward to? What should we expect? Somebody watching our show and thinking, or even those people who are a bit lazy about it and thinking, maybe I should not go. What do you have to say to them?
Well, IK is an exceptional artist.
Yeah, I've listened to his
an exceptional
translations of
artist.
some of the songs, the other songs that we've listened
you
to
will
in other
imagine,
genres, and
you will
it's beautiful.
imagine a young man who set out to teach himself an instrument that has moved him places all over the world. And he has not stopped there. He's held sold-out concerts across the world, not in Uganda, not in South Africa, not in Kenya, but across the world.
Yes.
He goes to the States and plays for non-diaspora. You know, sometimes our artists, local artists, go to the West and they perform for diaspora people who are from the same
people
country
from their homelands,
and say, I'm on a world tour. No.
Yes, I know what you mean.
You advertised and you have a different category of people you've even never met, but they have listened to your music on iTunes or whatever it is, and they buy a ticket, a seat to come and listen to you for 2 hours. Now, Isaiah is not only just a self-made jazz artist, he's an enterprising promoter of the genre of music called jazz in this region. Practically, Uganda did not really embrace jazz, but the consequence of Isaiah's emerging into the market turned around things. And then he did not concentrate to Uganda. He moved to Nairobi. In Nairobi, he's selling in Nairobi. He's a darling there, and he holds shows sold out. He signs contracts with corporate companies. He'd not done that. He's a guy who has collaborated the likes of the legends like Hugh Masekela. He's now doing another collaboration with Amandi Bango, and so many others. Then he represents one of the biggest saxophone manufacturing companies on the continent of Africa.
Nice.
So if you look at his saxophone, it's not a saxophone you're going to get on the shop.
Hashtag goals. Hashtag goals.
So you can imagine what we are going to showcase that
Very
day.
true.
So what you're going to have is an experienced, well-traveled musician who is accomplished, and surprisingly, he has played other instruments. His humble beginning was a drummer.
Yes,
he was a drummer in a troupe. So many people don't know that story. And he has not done that. He has also brought up some other jazz artists and supported them, and amongst them actually is his son who is traveling. He's a wonderful keyboardist and singer. You will love him.
Basically, Isaiah is a concert on his own.
He's a concept.
Perfect. Now, as we wrap up, what should we look forward to from the Kigali Jazz Junction in the near future? What is your dream? What is your vision? You know, how can we be part of this dream that you have going on?
Well, Jazz Junction, like I told you, is a concept that is selling Kigali as a city, as a destination. We're having a lot of people calling us from all over the world to come and be a part of this.
Nice.
They're calling big, huge artists.
You started with your 20 volunteers, and now people are the ones who are reaching out to you to
artists
be part
are
of
reaching
it.
out to be a part of it.
Imagine.
We are reaching out there to all people who really feel that we need to promote this city, that we need to promote Rwanda as a destination, to come and we join hands. This is a unity. It's not about me. I actually don't love the limelight at all. I was there, I did that, so I'm retired.
You've been there, done that.
I'm retired.
All right.
But what I think about, I love this city. I love the city. I work in the city and I love it to the brim. So I cannot stand to see the night with all the beautiful, without people celebrating it, taking selfies and saying, Kigali is lit up, you understand? So we need to make people happy, you understand? People work so hard. So the vision of this is to bring Rwanda on the world map as far as exchange of culture and destination and hospitality and entertainment.
Which is in line with our vision
exactly.
anyway.
So we rub away the other thing, Kigali has everything, but you sleep in the night. No.
There's no
that has
actually
long
in the night.
changed. That has long changed.
Right.
And these are the concepts that are bringing up the city. And in line with what the vision of the government is to have a 24-hour economy. You cannot have a night economy without entertainment. You need to thrill with that. So with all the mushrooming big international hotels setting up here, they need international acts. So you cannot just have a big hotel and you just have a small backline band there playing you every Monday there and you're not giving people an experience. So what we're selling is an experience of both art and the town and the experience of the country.
Yes, I love that you've started this revolution. I love that everybody's being part of it, from hotels to food vendors to everybody
comes
all
in
inclusive.
Exactly.
And we wish you all the best and
Thank
look
you
forward
very
to
much.
continue being part of this journey that you're on.
Thank you very much.
All right, so you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break. That was perfect. Thank you so much.
You too.
Now, don't forget, we'll love to hear your thoughts, comments, and feedback on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Tweet us at Rise and Shine RW. Like us on Facebook and send us your ideas for programs. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page where you can catch all the shows and reports that we do. Find us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. We love to see your pictures. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website.
Well, that's all that we have time for today. We love to hear your feedback and do let us know if you have any idea for the program. You've been watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Irene Kanengwa.
And me, Fidelis Kang. We'll be back here same time, same place next week, so do join us then. But for now, from the both of us and the rest of the Rise and Shine Rwanda team, have a very good day. Goodbye.